Hi, this is David Lamb. We're going to start the webinar. I'm going to hand it over to Don Lafferty, who's going to sort of work you through how we see sort of inbound marketing best practice works and what the value is to you as an HVAC customer. Hopefully there's lots of value here. I know there's a nice planning document that they've set up that you can download at the end of the call, and I hope a lot of you will take advantage of that. So without much further ado, here's Don.
Hey guys, how are you? Ron and I are going to jump right into this and see if we can give you some direction on the success we've had and the success we've seen other contractors have and how they're selling more ductless. So we know, because my partner Ron here has been in your business for 30 years, that selling ductless can be a challenge.
And anything we talk about selling ductless, this can be taken across all your brands and services, the same concepts, so you can just interchange it with other products and services. But for this purpose here, we're going to focus on the ductless market. And I don't know about you guys, but I know that the market's changing. People are becoming more and more familiar with it. But a ductless buyer, there's still a lot of confusion out there. There's still a lot of misinformation. And that's an opportunity as a contractor to fill that gap. And the buying process has changed. And we strongly believe that if you don't match your selling process to the buyer's process, it's just negligent. And you know yourself that you've changed the way you buy. I'm sure you go online and you look and do your research. The old way, and most HVAC contractors are still doing it the old way, or thinking the old way, why the buyers are doing it different, is very centered on the salesperson to deliver the information. But again, the new way to shop, people do the research. They do the research on their phone. And I'm sure you guys have all heard all this before. But it's about taking action and making it easier to take action and make change.
So one of the things that's changed most dramatically is that, and you guys already know this, that buyers are 70% of the way to making their purchasing decision before they even pick the phone up and call you. So puts you in a position as a contractor, more than ever, you have to be the trusted authority while they're in that 70% of their purchase path and doing research on ductless products. And how do you do that? You get your stuff on the internet in a way that is easily accessible, answers questions, and is not confusing. So we found that buyers go on a journey, especially when it comes to ductless. There are about 5 things that we know buyers need to know before they make that purchasing decision. And so we try to position these 5 different bits of information in front of them in a way that both captures them the visually and it's interesting, but also speaks directly to their pain points. This isn't about boxes. This is about customer pain and customer solutions.
And this then helps you become that trusted vendor. And the more you become a trusted vendor through the buyer's journey, the more likely they are to buy you at the end of the process because they trust you more.
So if you think about that, you're really just trying to get 5 key pieces of information in front of your prospects so that you can do one of 2 things. You can either get them through their buyer's journey, or you can help them decide that ductless is not the right solution for them, because we all know it's not the right solution for everybody. So how are people looking for information? They're Googling it. We know that. What are they searching for? They're searching for the things the problems they have. They're not searching by brand name. They're not searching by contractor name. They're searching by symptom, by the symptom in their home. And so your content has to have those words in it. It can't just be about SEER and tonnage and brand names. It's got to be about the challenges that your homeowners face. So you have the ability to do this on your website, to turn your website into a lead generation machine. You'll notice on this depiction of a ductless website, the first thing the person sees is the location. All right, they know they're in Philadelphia. We also like to include a top of funnel call to action, because 97% of the time when somebody comes to your website, they are not ready to buy. They're doing their homework. So if you have the standard contractor call to action, that being call me or contact us for an estimate or enter your name and information and we'll call you, that person doesn't have any way to identify themselves. That call to action you see on that screen there is a download the ductless brochure. That gives someone the opportunity to, in a very non-threatening way, provide you with their name and email address in exchange for a ductless brochure. Now you have the ability to spoon feed them those other pieces of content that we know are so important to the buyer's journey.
And one of the things when we talk to contractors, and that I learned the hard way, is most of the contractors' websites are geared to that 3% of the people that are ready to buy and ready to call. But what about that other 97%? Is your website geared to those also? That is the goal that most contractors are missing. Not everybody's ready to buy at the time that they start their research. When they're thinking about their problem and they enter that into Google, they're starting their buyer's journey, and your website should be able to match that process. And what we find, they don't. And when you can have that download and give them useful information, maybe a couple months down the line, maybe a year from now, that percentage of 97 are going to come back to you because you gave them that information, you helped them, you stayed in contact with them.
So in addition to generating the leads you would always generate, that is those that are ready to buy, those with an immediate need or a broken system, you're going to start to build up a bucket of people who weren't ready the moment they got to your website. And over time, imagine, that bucket continues to grow and grow, and then not only will you continue to get your bottom of funnel leads every day, but from that growing bucket of the 97%, some of those people will begin to convert. And that's how you start to experience exponential growth over time.
Recently, I'm sure you guys went through it in February with the warm weather. This was a game changer for some of our clients. We sent out a simple 9-word email to that bucket of people that didn't really raise their hand and say they were ready to buy at that point, but were in the system, and it was just 9 words. Are you still interested in buying a ductless system this spring? And the phone started ringing, and people replied because you had that data and you had those contacts in your system. And these people were able to generate business right off of that email. And I'd recommend Googling the 9-word email and using that in your business practice right away.
So the new way that we recommend selling and marketing involves these 4 steps. I don't know if you've ever seen this before. This is not new. We did not invent this. This is called inbound marketing. And it really is the 4-step process of attracting people to your business, converting them on your website, closing them with your salespeople. But then it's that 4th stage there that a lot of people seem to forget about. Now, and that is the delight stage. You know, what do you do after you close the sale? Email automation and content give you plenty of opportunities now to stay top of mind with your customers in an automated, low-cost way with just a little bit of planning and thinking through the process. You know, you want to be educating people, right? They ask, you answer. So instead of selling, instead of being that guy that's always beating your customers over the head, you want to be the trusted advisor on all things related to home comfort. And that's the voice that you should have, is the trusted advisor, not the huckster. You know, you do this using blogs, right? People hear the word blog and their eyes roll back in their head. They say, oh, God, not another person telling me I have to blog. Trust me when I tell you. We've got a list of 52 blog posts that you could write and it would map your content out for a year, and it took us about 15 minutes of brainstorming to come up with those 52 ideas. You already know them. You already know the things that people need to know on a seasonal basis. It's very easy to have that stuff in the can, write it, and get it on your website and share it with email and share it through social media. You're answering questions, as I said, and here is this is the ringer right here. This is the silver bullet for all those guys that are sick and tired of hearing SEO experts tell them what they need and wondering what keywords they need. Case studies will solve all your SEO problems. If you were to simply take every job that represents the kind of work you want to do and get a case study on your website, the keywords will be naturally embedded in that story. The SEO will belong to you. No one will be able to take it. It will sit on your website and work for you forever and deliver you leads consistently over time and build and build.
I think the other thing that's important with case studies is that it addresses what your common sales opportunities are. Because as people come through your sales funnel, if they can see their problems in case studies that you've solved, then they feel much more comfortable with you as a solution provider for that problem that you're solving, because you've done it before. And that kind of comes back to understanding what your both geographical and solution sweet spots are, and having case studies for those, because those are where you're most likely to close your sales going forward. Well, not close it, but gain that credibility so that you're more likely to close those opportunities. And the other nice thing is that you can start to see, based on your case studies and all your other parts of your website, what's working and what's not, because there's a lot of data that sits behind this that can then help you continually tune what you're doing, so you get better, you have more relevant content, and you drop the content that doesn't work.
And a lot of contractors, and me coming from the contractor background when I got started in this, you get paralyzed thinking about writing a blog, and you're going to put something out there for people to read, and people are going to judge you on it. And then you've got the case studies, you're trying to have it perfect. We found to keep it simple, and we have a course that we can share with you if you want it. You just hit us up on how to build these, how to keep it simple, how to get them out there, why they're valuable. And one of the things that you find that David and Don alluded to is, and we started, people's buying process has changed. And one of them, people used to make decisions on intuition, instinct, past history, maybe a friend referred them. But today, even if a friend refers you, you go on and you look at it online, and if they got a 2-star review, you're bouncing. If you don't see what you're looking for, you're bouncing. And you're going to go to the guy with the 5-star review. You're going to go to the guy that has the case studies that can give you what we call evidence-based decision-making, that's providing the social proof and the evidence that you are the right guy. And case studies solve all that. It's again, if you take one thing out of this and you create case studies and you build your review base, you'll have a lot of success.
Case studies need to have a few elements that we really like to focus on. The outside of the home, your truck in front of the house, the street. You want people, when they arrive at that case study, you want them to have an immediate feeling that they are in the right place. A box is not going to do that. A box in a basement is not going to give them that feeling. The street view, the house view, the neighborhood view, that's going to give them that feeling. And so while most contractors are really inclined to be taking a handful of pictures of the boxes that they put in, it's really important that you have the neighborhood and the home. And that way when the homeowner does get there, that shopper gets to that case study, if they see a home that looks like theirs, they're going to know they're in the right place.
As we show them an image of a box. But
yeah, well, I mean, it's on the outside of the home.
That is really the secret sauce in creating the case studies that we found. You're not writing about yourself. If you're constantly writing about your company, how great it is, it's boring, it has no value. If you make the case study about the homeowner, about the type of house, about the neighborhood, Each story is unique at that point, and your company is just in the backdrop, and the stories get easier if you make it about someone else and make it about them. We recommend also that the salesmen as they're taking notes during the sales process, those notes then turn into the foundation for that case study. He's also taking, if he's doing the right thing, he's taking pictures of the house, of the project, of the space. So you have the before and you have the after process. You do those couple things, you got the story, and you post it.
And if you also include in the case study two important pieces of information. What was the presenting issue that caused the homeowner to pick the phone up and call, and what was your solution? And without a lot of detail, right? This homeowner found that they were remodeling the upstairs because they had a parent moving in, and they had to condition a space that they'd never used before. And our solution was install a single zone ductless system, blah, 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 right? I mean, those are the things that people are going to search for, and if it's on your case study, it'll be found.
Here's another key point in this inbound digital marketing platform. There's a couple different types of marketing assets. Some that you rent, some that you buy, you pay for it either way. When you pay for an ad in the news clipper or whatever, and just use a number of $400 to $1,000. You pay for that, and it's out there, and then it's gone. If it's a newspaper, it has a shelf life of X amount of time. If it's a magazine, it has a little longer shelf life. If you have a coupon that people might put it in their drawer and they have it, but at some point it's done and it's expired. When you create this content, you own it, and it lasts forever. There's nothing better than seeing an ad that you created online or a case study or a video producing leads for you 3 years from now. So some people get worried, well, I don't want to spend $1,500 on a video or $3,000 on a video. But if that's constantly out there generating business and generating traffic, you amortize that over 10 years of lifespan, it's nothing. It's inexpensive.
So we talked about this. Again, we're focusing on, images that tell people they're in the right place.
If the content, what we found is the content creates a better sales process. When you sit down at the table with that homeowner, if you set the table correctly and they're educated and they have the knowledge, that's less you have to go over, and it created a contrast between you and the other guy. It really is difference maker when you had to go into that house and you had to start from zero trying to educate the person and trying to get them around to the way you think. And Don's talked about the 5 pieces of content. What does ductless cost? How does ductless work? How will this fit into my home? All these certain things. What is hyperheat? If you provide that in advance and they get to look at it at their convenience, and you don't have to overwhelm them with that much information when you get there. And we highly recommend that. That goes back to Sun Tzu's issue, statement, every battle is won before it is fought. Everything you do prior to knocking on that homeowner's door to make it to set the table correctly will help you close the deal and spend much less time in the house trying to convey your value proposition.
So prior to engaging with this, how much time would you spend in the home educating the customer?
With a ductless and certain things, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and callbacks and questions. I tell a story that I went on a sales call, training a salesperson, and I'll try to get through it really quick, but it was in University City. These people wanted to go green and wanted geothermal, wanted all this. Their spray foam in every square foot. They gutted the place, and we were in the house and talking about hyperheat systems and mini split, multi-zone, and they loved it. They loved it. We were picking out places. The air handler's going to go here. The wall unit's going to go here. The SEZ's up there. It was a love fest. And then she turned around and asked me, so how's this system provide heat? And I said, a heat pump. And boom, her face changed. Her demeanor changed. She basically rushed me out of the house after that. I'm trying to talk to her like, well, you know, a heat pump is not, you know, it's only, a geothermal is a heat pump. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, we got a referral in another, right down the street from there. And we set the table correctly. This person, we didn't see, they didn't go to our website because it was a referral. We emailed them the content, these 5 pieces of content. And we could see with the software we have that she was opening and sharing it. When I got there, I asked her, and I already knew it, but I asked her anyway, so hi, Mrs. So-and-so, did you get a chance to check out the information we send you in the videos? And she said, oh my God, yes, it was great. I shared it with the person at work who's our facilities manager. He loves that hyperheat technology. He wants to use it at our facility. I shared it with my father. He thinks it's great. He thinks it's what I should do. Boom. I was just right through all that information, and we were right on into closing at that point. It was a difference maker, and you can do that by projecting your buyer's journeys correctly.
So, you know, Ron, we talk about the buyer's journey, and Ron sort of alluded to it earlier. We think, we believe, and we've got data to prove that ductless buyers go on a journey. They need to know 5 things. They need to know what it costs, how it works, do you have any financing and rebates, do you have any examples of installations you've done in my neighborhood, and they like to know that this is a low-impact installation to their home, ease of installation, and low disruption at the home. You get those 5 things to a buyer, and you're going to basically get them through their journey, and then it's just going to be a matter of deciding whether or not, you know, then you get to go in and consult and decide if that's the right system for them. And by combining it with your sales process, that is sending these pieces of content out prior to the appointment, prior to the sales call, you compress that sales cycle. And so creating the content is fairly straightforward.
I think also what you do is you start to sort the wheat from the chaff, because there's nothing more frustrating than turning up at a home and the guy is expecting a cost that is similar to a window shaker, and you just traveled 40 minutes, sat outside another 30 minutes because he was late, and he just doesn't have the money. So not only is it educating the people and getting them ready to buy, it's also making sure that the people who were never a really addressable target are sort of taken out of the picture, so your sales time becomes much more productive.
And, you know, we all know, how many times have you gone, or your salespeople gone on a call for ductless, and when the topic of price comes up, the sticker shock ends that conversation. So in this case, you know, and often contractors will say, how do you share cost? Well, we share a broad range. You know, we tell people, well, it could cost you, if it's a single zone system, it could cost you $4,000. If it's a 5-zone system, it could cost you $20,000. And here are the reasons why. And so if someone is still opening your emails and still accepting your phone calls after that, well, that's a pretty qualified buyer at that point. Price is not an issue. So again, how do you do it? With content. All these 5 different key points that I mentioned, and again, ductless has some very specific personas that you sell to, right? There's the older homeowner. There's the person with the sunroom that they want to extend into a year-round room. The person with the room that's always hot or always cold. Yes, you have your occasional whole home solutions, but you can focus on these very specific ductless personas and provide that information for those specific people and get them right through their buyer's journey right on your website. And again, it produces a super high quality lead and a much faster sales cycle.
Let me jump in there too and circle back to like the price shopper. Again, by giving them that information now, they may not be ready to buy at that point, and they don't have their mind wrapped around the sticker shock and understanding. But if you give it to them ahead of time and they can digest it, they'll circle back sometimes more often than you think, and then call you when they do have the money, and they have gotten over that price shock.
So your content should be interactive. There should be places for people to go, things for them to download, information that you can share. This all serves to help them identify themselves so that you can respectfully and educationally stay in touch with them via some sort of automated email, whether you use Constant Contact or MailChimp or some other kind of a tool. And again, you know, you're educating both with video and with written words.
And Mitsubishi has so much video content that they want you to use. You can download that right to your website. You don't have to create your own original web content. Until you get your web content, we recommend using Mitsubishi's library as much as possible. The difference is you don't want to send them to their YouTube page. You want it right on your website.
Yeah, you can embed those videos right on your website so people do not leave your website. Don't send people. I can't tell you how much it drives us crazy when we see a contractor put a link on their website to take someone to a manufacturer's website, and then they're gone. Next thing you know, they're looking at a contractor locator. So we talked about nurturing. We have some strong ideas about this. You can set it up to whatever your sensibility is, but the idea is over time you stay top of mind by automating this process of sending out emails.
And I don't know if we mentioned too, if anybody wants to put any questions in the chat pane, we've been flying through this stuff. So if you have any questions, go ahead, start entering them into the chat pane down at the bottom, and we can address them as we're closing down.
And finally, how do you know if it's working, right? Well, you should have tools in place to measure the results of these things that you're doing. Everything online is measurable. So whether it's email opens, email clicks, website visits, call to action clicks, all these things are measurable. If you've got a process that you're following and a measurement system and a review process, you can constantly be improving the conversion rates of all your content and speeding up this process of getting people through the funnel or out of the funnel.
This is something that I'm really passionate about as a contractor myself. All the years that I marketed, you hear so many different advice and tips. You put that ad in and it doesn't get a response, and they say, just keep it in, it's repetition, keep it in, it's repetition. People, it will resonate and it will start to go. With digital, it's so transparent, and you can now make evidence-based decisions yourself based on the results that you see. You can run 4 digital ads that don't cost you much, see which one is performing better, and then go with that and then try to improve that. If your web people and your marketing team can't give you common sense results and make sense of it and make you feel confident that what you're doing is working and the dollars that you're spending are connected to the sales that you're creating, then something's wrong. It has to make sense. It should be common sense. It's not rocket science.
So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. How valuable is a good CRM system in this process?
Well, a CRM system, when it comes to the taking action on this data that you collect, is critical. Somebody has to make sense of it, and often, you know, you can become overwhelmed by data. A CRM gives you the framework to look at the data that matters and understand which leads you need to take action on and which leads you can ignore. So CRM is critical, and you can get a CRM for free these days, so there's no reason not to have one.
CRM is customer relationship management software, and again, how the technology's improved so much, it connects that path to purchase. It helps the salesman. It shouldn't be a burden on the salesman in his process. It should provide lead intelligence. It should make his job easier. And for management and marketing, it should provide the process to tie the dollars back to the sales, tie the content back to the sales. So you know what you're doing. You know if you run a Facebook ad, it generated this much sales. And this is the information these people wanted, and how so you can continually evaluate and improve upon it. It's a vital piece, and as Don said, there's free software out there that can do this for you.
So the key characteristics you want to see in a CRM system is the ability for it to automatically update from the interactions you're having electronically.
Yes. You want to see, for instance, things like how many different pages of content did someone look at? When was the last time they visited your website? When was the last time they opened your email? And some of these CRMs will actually score these behaviors. And when you do that, the really engaged leads just sort of percolate to the top of that list. So yeah, there's certain types of behavior. You want to make sure that someone, before you go on that sales call, you look in your CRM and you say, did this guy look at my email? Did they watch the videos? Did they, is this sales call going to go the way I want it to go? Am I giving myself the best opportunity for success here?
We are big believers, and we're a HubSpot partner, and we train and help people with HubSpot implementation. But they have great free apps now that will tell you what's going on with your emails. It'll provide a very simple CRM, and it will connect a lot of the dots for people very easily.
So the other key features that you want in the CRM system isn't really at the individual customer level. It's looking at the performance of your marketing and sales activity at an aggregate level so that you can see which things are working and which things are not.
Yes.
So one of the things that David will be sending you a content mapping tool. It's a document that will show you an example of how we've mapped out Ductless content for our clients and give you some templates that you can work on, not just your Ductless sales, but your other content for some of your other products too. There'll be 10 blanks in there, and you'll get that from David as a follow-up to the meeting. And if you have any questions about how to use it, feel free to contact Ron or I, and we'll step you through it.
We also have some how-to processes for setting the table. You can start doing that right away. So we have some information. If you let us know, we can get it to you. It's all free.
And becoming your trusted vendor.
Well, we're trying.
Okay, guys, I want to thank everyone. I'm not sure we've got any chat. We've got one more. Oh, we do have a question. I apologize. I think we did list the 5 steps. We had a question on what the 5 steps were. I think we did actually list those.
So the way we do it, guys, is if someone downloads a Ductless brochure, we know they're at the beginning of their buyer's journey, or they're not ready to talk to somebody. So what we're trying to give them at that point is, and different contractors have done this differently with us, but we found what's most effective is we immediately, if you download a Ductless brochure from a contractor website that we work with, in 24 hours, you're going to get an email that says something like, now that you have downloaded the brochure, a lot of people want to know what these systems cost. And we're going to get that right out of the way. And the reason we do that is because the next email we send them is a link back to how Ductless works. And if they click on that email and they will go back to that link, we know they're okay with the price. And then soon after, we send them an email that says, hey, here are some installations we've done in your neighborhood. And some contractors will, so that's 4 pieces, and somewhere in there you can fit in the ease of installation and the lack of disruption to the home. Those are really the 5 key steps to the Ductless buyer's journey that we found really moves the needle when you get those 5 things in front of your leads.
So you really have an engineered sales process.
Yeah, it's engineered, and you can tweak it if you're measuring it. If you find something works better for you, or you've got we'd love to know if you think there's something missing. But we've been practicing this for about 5 years, and this is what we've come up with as our most effective recipe.
Yeah, we pretty much know that when someone lands on your website and they look at the what Ductless costs or how it works, and they schedule a consultation, what your chances and your close rate is. It's pretty high. It moves the meter, definitely.
So another question we got was a recommendation for CRM. We talked about HubSpot. Is there any other ones out there you think are worth looking at?
I'm drawing a blank, but there are just so many out there right now that are really good.
Yeah, there's a lot of CRMs that are, a lot of people have Salesforce, right? Salesforce is the biggest name in the business. It's $50 per user.
And it's hard to learn.
It's difficult to learn. It needs a lot of customization.
It's $50 a month, I think.
Pardon me, yeah, $50 per month per person. HubSpot makes a free CRM.
It's a good way to get started.
That's a good way to get started. It takes a little know-how to make it, to connect it to your content and to connect it to your email, but it will give you actionable data that you can start to work from immediately for free. HubSpot also has a free marketing software package now that you can get into and set up some basic workflows and email nurturing. So there really is a way to get into this at a low cost and work your way up. I will tell you this, that the investment that everyone that we know has made in this, they're making more investments in it because at this point they're starting to see such excellent results that they believe in it. So it takes a little bit of establishing a belief system, but this stuff definitely works.
One of the things that the free HubSpot CRM provides for you also is 4 months now. We're seeing our clients right now, people that they were selling to 6 months ago, 8 months ago, or last spring, are opening up their content again, and you're getting those notifications from the CRM that Mrs. Smigelski from Elkins Park is looking at your proposal from last spring. And how powerful is that to know that and then pick up the phone and give her a call and say, hey, Mrs. Smigelski, I was just thinking about you. You know, we have this new financing program, 0% for 60 months. Would you be interested in that? You know it's top of mind right now, and having that intelligence is really important.
All right, we have a question about the blog course that we mentioned earlier.
So that's a course about writing case studies. How do you develop case studies, which is, you know, kind of a blog. So yeah, we have that. We'll get that to David, and David will send that link out to you guys.
We also have the course on the 52 blogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hit us directly, and we can get it to you. We also want to offer this that we think we're really excited about. We're creating mixed groups for Pierce Phelps contractors that are non-competing contractors that would like to meet online, 4 to 6 people. We would meet once a month, go up for an hour, at least an hour, and we would go through these courses or go through the process. We would look at your emails, we would look at your website, and we would help consult on that. So you don't have to switch what you're doing. It's $97 a month, 4 to 6 contractors, again, that are trying to do the same thing. They're just getting started. We also have a mastermind group for people that are a little further down the line and have some experience with this, but are struggling with getting over the top. That's an hour and a half, and it's limited to 4 non-competing contractors. And each person will spend 20 minutes going over their content and their information and help guide them through this any way we can.
A couple other things I want to say before we get off, because it's time to wrap up. People, we talk to contractors all the time that are out of their mind over, you know, is my pay-per-click working? Is Google pay-per-click working? What am I paying my SEO guy for? And we know these are common frustrations. These things are all manageable, measurable, and you don't have to feel that way. You can get your arms around this. You can go into those meetings with your SEO contractor and your PPC contractor with data in your hands, and so that you can have educated conversations with them and not have to take them at their word. It is possible.
Okay, I think we shared a lot of information. I will share, and I'm going to slap them around the head a little bit because they didn't put their contact information on the slide deck, but I will share that as well, so that if you want to reach out, you can contact them. Hopefully, sort of changes a little bit your perspective on how to drive leads into your business. And I'll also be sending out a recording and a copy of the slides. So thank you very much for attending. I hope it was worthwhile, and have a great day.